The sun blazed over Lagos that afternoon, making the glass windows of the tall buildings gleam like mirrors, and a black Bentley parked in front of a giant tech company building, its doors wide open, its owner pacing in frustration. Olivia Anderson, CEO of Androtech Systems, tapped her foot and clenched her phone. Her suit blew slightly in the breeze, but her mind was far from calm. She was surrounded by her best engineers, yet none of them could crack the line of code blocking their latest product launch. "It's just one string," she said to no one in particular. "One string, and we miss our global deadline?" Her voice shook, not with anger, but exhaustion. She had built the company from scratch after losing her father and husband in a plane crash 5 years ago. Now she was raising her son, George, alone and trying to prove that a woman could dominate the tech world in Africa. Then came the voice. Low, rough, almost like it hadn't been used in days. "I can help you solve it." Olivia turned quickly and froze. The man before her was tall, dark-skinned, and wild-looking. His beard unkempt, tangled and grey at the tips. His eyes were sharp, intelligent, and focused. His coat was torn, his trousers dusty and worn thin at the knees. He held a faded bag under his arm, hugging it like it was his most valuable possession. The security guards moved quickly. "Madam, should we get rid of him?" "No," Olivia said, holding up her hand. She stared at the man. "What did you say?" "I can help you translate your code," the man repeated, standing firm. One of the engineers beside Olivia chuckled nervously. "With all due respect, Ma, even our back-end team couldn't debug it. I don't think—" "Give him the laptop," Olivia said. There was silence, a ripple of confusion. "Ma, I said give him the laptop." The young man obeyed. The homeless stranger sat on the pavement beside the Bentley, pulled his laptop from his bag and opened it. For a moment, the world around him faded. No one mattered. Not the guards watching, not the rich woman staring down at him. He was focused on only the code. His fingers danced across the keyboard, like they remembered a song only he knew. The scrolling green lines on the black screen reflected in his eyes. 5 minutes passed. Then 10. And then he stopped. "It's done," he said softly. "You were using a nested loop in the wrong function. It was feeding bad output. I rewrote it. You can test it now." Olivia grabbed the laptop. The code ran perfectly. Every warning light disappeared. She gasped. "Who are you?" The man stood slowly, dusting his hands. "My name is Benjamin," he said. "I used to be a lead software engineer. I had a family, a wife and twin boys. We were happy. I came home every night to hugs and laughter. But one day, we went to the amusement park. On our way back, a drunk driver ran us off the road." He paused. Olivia's eyes softened. Her hands trembled slightly. "I lost them all," Benjamin continued. "Sandra, Jerry, Joshua, all gone. Just like that. After the burial, I lost the will to live. I quit my job, left everything. Moved under the bridge. I code, but not for anyone. Just for myself. Because it's the only thing that reminds me I used to be somebody." Tears filled Olivia's eyes, but she blinked them away. She stepped closer. "I'm sorry, Benjamin. Truly. I lost my father and my husband the same day. Plane crash. I had just given birth to George. I wanted to die, but I had to stay for my son, for them. That pain, I understand it." Benjamin looked up. Their eyes locked, two broken souls meeting at the edge of hope. "There's still life, Benjamin," she said. "You're still breathing. That means there's more. I want to help you." He shook his head. "Why?" "Because someone should have helped me when I was at my worst." She turned to her driver. "Open the car." Then to Benjamin, "Let's go get you some new clothes." Benjamin followed her, hesitantly. The Bentley's door opened wide, and the smell of new leather and success hit him like a wave. As they drove away, people whispered. Some took photos. Others just stared, stunned. They stopped at a boutique in Victoria Island. For the first time in over a year, Benjamin looked in a mirror. He barely recognized the man staring back. They cut his beard, trimmed his hair, dressed him in a dark blue kaftan and black sandals. Olivia smiled when he stepped out of the changing room. "You look like a CEO," she said. Benjamin chuckled, a small, shy laugh he hadn't heard from himself in months. Next, they drove to the small apartment where Benjamin used to live. The gate was gone. His front door was wide open. Inside, it was empty, looted. The few things he hadn't carried under the bridge were gone. Benjamin stared in silence. "It's all gone," he whispered. Olivia gently placed a hand on his shoulder. "Then, let's start again." "Where?" he asked. "At my home," she replied. "Banana Island." Benjamin's jaw dropped. "You're serious?" "I don't make jokes," Olivia said with a smile. "And I'm not done yet." They drove through the security gates of her mansion just as the evening sun kissed the sky orange. Her 6-year-old son George ran out, laughing and barefoot. "Mummy, you're home!" George paused when he saw Benjamin. The boy tilted his head, curious. "Who's that?" he asked. Olivia knelt beside him. "This is Mr. Benjamin. He's going to help Mummy build something amazing." George reached out and held Benjamin's hand. Benjamin's heart cracked, and something inside him, something long buried, began to breathe again. But just as Benjamin stepped inside the grand house, a shadow appeared on the other side of the street, someone watching them closely. A man in dark sunglasses, phone to his ear, whispering, watching. The night air in Banana Island was cool and still. Inside Olivia's mansion, laughter echoed gently from the dining room, where George, sitting between Benjamin and his mother, was busy telling stories about school. Benjamin smiled more than he had in the past year. The rich aroma of a goosey soup lingered in the air. Olivia's chef had prepared a small welcome dinner, nothing grand, just warmth, food, and the feeling of family. "I told my teacher today that my mummy can fix any computer problem," George said proudly, slurping his soup. "And now," Olivia added, smiling at Benjamin, "she has someone to help her prove it." Benjamin's eyes glistened. He looked down at his bowl, unable to speak for a moment. "Thank you," he finally whispered. "I don't deserve this." "Yes, you do," Olivia replied. "We all deserve a second chance." But outside across the street from the mansion's fence, someone else was watching. The man in the dark sunglasses, now seated in a dusty Toyota Corolla, dialed a number. "Madam," he said, "that homeless guy you asked me to track. He's here, with Olivia Anderson." There was silence on the other end. Then a female voice responded, "Good. Keep watching. I knew he wasn't dead." The next morning, Benjamin woke in a clean, soft bed for the first time in months. Sunlight streamed through the tall windows. A pressed white shirt and fresh trousers lay neatly at the edge of the bed. Olivia had insisted he rest, but also arranged for him to tour her company later that day. Downstairs, the mansion hummed with quiet activity. George had gone to school. Olivia sat on the patio, sipping her tea and reading through reports on her tablet. "You slept well?" she asked when Benjamin stepped outside, now clean-shaven and looking like a different man. "I did," he said with a nervous laugh. "I feel like I robbed someone else's life." Olivia smiled. "Well, keep it. They weren't using it." As they drove to Androtech's headquarters, Olivia gave him a tour of the city he hadn't seen in over a year. Life had gone on without him. New shops, new roads, fresh buildings. Lagos never stopped growing, even when people fell behind. "I want you to meet my team," she said. "They'll be shocked." "They'll probably throw me out again," Benjamin replied. "Not this time." When they entered the tech building, heads turned. Employees paused mid-conversation. Olivia walked ahead, confident. Benjamin followed, dressed smartly in navy blue, laptop bag on his shoulder. Inside the elevator, Olivia looked at him. "Are you ready?" He nodded. But just as the doors opened, Olivia's assistant rushed up. "I'm sorry to interrupt. There's a woman asking to see you. She says it's urgent." Olivia frowned. "Who?" She wouldn't give her name, but she said it's about Benjamin. Benjamin froze. His hands clenched tightly. "I think I know who it is." In the reception area stood a woman in her late 30s, dark-skinned, expensive Ankara dress, gold jewelry. Her eyes narrowed the moment she saw Benjamin. "So it's true," she said coldly. Olivia stepped beside him. "Can we help you?" "I'm nosy," the woman replied, folding her arms. "Benjamin's sister, in-law. My younger sister Sandra was his wife." Benjamin inhaled sharply. "What are you doing here?" "I should ask you that," she snapped. "You vanished after the burial. You left everything behind. You even refused to take Sandra's belongings from the house. You abandoned her memory." "I lost everything," he said quietly. "No," Nosy replied. "You ran. You didn't even attend Jerry and Joshua's one-year remembrance." Benjamin looked down. "I'm not proud of that," he said. Olivia watched the exchange, stunned. "You know what hurts the most?" Ngozi continued. "You let everyone believe you died too. We searched. We put up flyers. Sandra loved you. My nephews adored you, and you just disappeared?" Benjamin was trembling. "I was broken." "So are we all," Ngozi cried. "But we don't stop living." She turned to Olivia. "You think you know him? You don't. He's a coward who let pain turn him into a ghost." She picked up her purse and walked out. There was silence. Benjamin stood there, numb. "She's right," he whispered. "Maybe I don't deserve a second chance." Olivia reached out and touched his hand. "She's angry. She's grieving. But Benjamin, listen to me. You were lost, but you found your way back. That's what matters." He looked at her, tears in his eyes. "Do you really believe that?" "I do," Olivia said. "And I think, deep down, so does she." Later that afternoon, Olivia took Benjamin to the programming division. The team stared as she introduced him. "This is Benjamin," she said. "He's going to be helping us on Project Nova." There were murmurs. The same man they once laughed at outside the company now stood among them. But once Benjamin began to speak, explaining code, simplifying structures, suggesting improvements, they saw it. Genius. One by one, they leaned in. "What if we use conditional dependency instead?" one asked. "We can," Benjamin replied, "but we'll run into a race condition. Try this instead." His presence shifted the energy of the room, and Olivia watched from the glass wall with pride. That evening, as the sky dimmed over Banana Island, Olivia and Benjamin sat on the balcony sipping fresh juice. The stars were beginning to appear. George was asleep inside, hugging his toy lion. Olivia looked at Benjamin. "You fit in today." "I felt like me again," he replied. They sat in silence for a moment. Then she asked softly, "Did you ever imagine this would happen?" Benjamin shook his head. "I thought I would die under that bridge." "But you didn't." He turned to look at her. Their eyes locked again, just like the first day, and something gentle, uncertain, yet warm passed between them. But before Benjamin could speak, Olivia's phone buzzed. She picked it up, and her expression darkened. Benjamin leaned forward. "What is it?" Olivia's eyes met his. "I think someone's trying to sabotage the company." Olivia's hands trembled slightly as she stared at the message glowing on her phone screen. She didn't blink. Her lips parted, but no sound came. Benjamin leaned closer. "Olivia, what's wrong?" She finally handed him the phone. A short anonymous email flashed on the screen. "Your new pet project will crash your system from the inside. One wrong line, and everything collapses. You trusted the wrong man." Benjamin read it twice, his stomach turning. His chest tightened. "They think I'm the threat," he said quietly. "No," Olivia said firmly, her voice regaining strength. "They want me to think that. This is someone trying to create fear, confusion, doubt." "But who would send this?" Benjamin asked. "That's what we're going to find out," she said, standing. "But not with panic. We fight it with strategy." The next morning, Olivia summoned an emergency meeting with the cybersecurity team. Benjamin sat beside her in the sleek glass conference room, feeling like a storm cloud was hovering above him. The engineers pulled up the system logs. As they reviewed lines of code in the back end of Project Novath Company's upcoming cloud-powered education platform, they found something troubling. There's a small piece of injected code that doesn't match any commit record, said one of the engineers. Almost like someone slipped it in without using our Git control. It's masking itself. Another added. It's smart, but not smarter than us. Benjamin leaned in. Can I see it? They hesitated. Olivia nodded. Let him. Benjamin stared at the lines, his eyes narrowing. There. A tiny conditional loop disguised as a simple time check. But once the program was deployed, the loop would overwrite the primary user database. He looked up. This was no accident. Someone inside your team did this. Gasps. What? But only a few people have access to this level of back-end control, said one team lead. This means someone close. Everyone turned toward each other. Olivia clenched her fist. I want a full audit of the system. Every log, every login attempt. I want to know who wrote that code and when. Meanwhile, in the shadows. Across town, in a dark office filled with computer monitors and glowing blue lights, a man sat hunched over his desk, a headset in his ear. On one of his screens, he watched security footage of Benjamin arriving at Olivia's company earlier that week. A woman paced behind him, Mugozi. Yes, she said coldly. He's rebuilding his life. Inside my sister's enemy's company. The man looked up. You said he was broken. He was, Ngozi said. But that woman, Olivia, she's changing him. And you want him gone? Ngozi's eyes narrowed. No. I want him to remember that his happiness cost us everything. I want him to suffer again. The fire drill. Back at Androtech, Benjamin returned to work with a quiet focus. Olivia had offered to let him rest at home, but he insisted on staying. He wanted to prove his loyalty. He wanted to help. It was just past 4 p.m. when the fire alarms went off. A loud blare echoed through the floors. Red lights flashed. People rushed to grab bags and files. Evacuate immediately, a voice repeated through the speakers. Fire emergency protocol activated. Olivia stood from her office. What now? Benjamin checked the system monitor on the hallway wall as he walked beside her. There's no real fire, he said quickly. This was triggered remotely. Another attack? Yes. They stepped outside with the rest of the staff into the open parking lot. But as Benjamin scanned the crowd, he spotted someone he hadn't seen in over a year. Ngozi, wearing sunglasses, arms folded, watching him. His heart stopped. She turned and walked away quickly, disappearing into the street. Benjamin chased after her, dodging between cars, ignoring Olivia calling after him. Ngozi. She didn't stop. He finally caught her at the corner, grabbing her arm. What are you doing here? She pulled away. What do you think, Benjamin? I came to see how low you've fallen, how fast you're climbing back up. Why are you doing this? What do you want from me? I want you to feel it, she snapped. I want you to feel the weight I carry. You think you lost everything? I lost them too. But I stayed. I picked up the pieces. And you? You ran. I broke, Benjamin shouted. I lost myself. Ngozi's voice softened slightly. And now you're Olivia Anderson's newest project, her next story of redemption. Just wait, Benjamin. One day, she'll wake up and regret saving you. Benjamin's jaw tightened. I'm not running anymore. Ngozi smirked. We'll see. She walked away, leaving him standing at the edge of the street torn between past and present. That evening, Olivia made something simple. Jollof rice and grilled chicken. The kitchen was warm, with the smell of tomatoes and spices. George sat at the table drawing comic book characters with crayons. But Benjamin was quiet. Did you see her again? Olivia asked. He nodded. Ngozi. Olivia didn't speak for a moment. Then she sat beside him. Is she the one behind the threats? I don't know, Benjamin said. But she wants to punish me. She blames me for everything. You can't live in that blame forever, Olivia said. You were in pain. You're still healing. But what if she's right? What if I don't deserve peace? Olivia leaned in, eyes gentle. You don't earn peace, Benjamin. You accept it when it finally finds you. Their eyes locked again, just like the night before. There was something real there, unspoken, growing. But just before anything could be said, Olivia's phone buzzed again. Another message. This time, no text. Just a video file. She played it. A hidden camera. Footage of Benjamin. Inside her office. Sitting alone. The video was edited to make it look like he was inserting something into her system. Olivia's face turned pale. Benjamin, this isn't real, right? He stood, confused, looking at the screen. No, I didn't. This is fake. Someone is framing me. Olivia looked up, heart racing. But who would go this far? And at that moment, a new message popped up. If you don't fire him, the next video will destroy your company. The office was quiet the next morning. Too quiet. Olivia sat behind her desk, eyes fixed on her laptop screen. She had watched the fake video at least 10 times since midnight. Every time she replayed it, her heart twisted. The editing was subtle clever enough to look real to someone who didn't know Benjamin. But she did know him, didn't she? The memory of him debugging her code in 5 minutes. The sound of his soft laugh during dinner. His trembling voice when he spoke about his wife and kids. Those weren't the actions of a liar. Still, what if she was wrong? Benjamin entered her office slowly. He could feel it, the shift in her energy. Like a wall had gone up. You called me in early, he said gently. Olivia closed her laptop. Yes, I need to talk to you. She looked tired, worn down. Benjamin, someone's trying to destroy my company from the inside, and now all evidence is pointing at you. I didn't do it, Olivia. I know, she whispered. But the board wants answers. I've protected you this far, but they're calling an emergency investigation. Benjamin's face sank. They think I planted that code? They think you tricked me, she said, pain in her voice. That you targeted me, earned my trust, for access. His chest tightened. His breath quickened. Do you believe that? Olivia looked at him long and hard. Then, softly, no. But if we don't prove who's behind this fast, they'll fire me. Silence. Then Benjamin said, Give me 48 hours. What? Give me 2 days. I'll prove who's behind this. I'll trace the code injection. I know what to look for. Please. Olivia studied him, then slowly nodded. You have 48 hours. After that, I can't protect you. Benjamin went to work immediately. Back in the server room, he logged into a secure machine. No internet, no distractions, only raw code. He combed through system logs, every fingerprint, every timestamp. He looked for inconsistencies, things only an insider would hide. Hours passed. He drank only water, refused food, barely blinked. And then, finally, he found it. A script hidden in a dormant folder named Test Archive. It contained a piece of code with a metadata timestamp that was backdated, meaning it was made to appear like it had always been there. Only one person on the team had access to that folder. Frank, Olivia's senior systems engineer. The same man who once laughed when Benjamin offered to help translate the code outside the building weeks ago. Later that evening, Benjamin and Olivia confronted Frank. The moment Benjamin showed him the printed logs and screenshots, Frank's face went pale. This isn't mine, he shouted. We traced the digital signature to your login ID, Olivia said, calm but firm. Only someone with high-level admin access could have bypassed the Git version control. Frank's hands trembled. No, I was set up. Someone must have used my machine. Your password was hard-coded in the script, Frank, Benjamin added. Only you could have written it. Frank's jaw dropped. Olivia stepped forward. Why? She asked. Frank broke down. Because you made him the hero, he snapped, pointing at Benjamin. I've worked here for 8 years. I've built this company with you. Then some dirty-looking stranger shows up and becomes the star of the show. You gave him access. You gave him your trust. You even gave him your heart. Benjamin's eyes widened. So did Olivia's. Frank was breathing hard. I just wanted things to go back the way they were, he muttered. Security entered. Olivia nodded to them. Escort him out and freeze all his credentials. They obeyed, and Frank was taken away, shouting that Olivia would regret this. As the doors closed behind Frank, Olivia leaned against the wall. "I should have seen it," she whispered. "He's been with me since I started. I never imagined." Benjamin stepped forward. "You believed in me, even when things looked bad." She looked up at him, tears in her eyes. "I did. But, for a moment, I was scared. Not just for the company, but for my son, for me." Benjamin nodded. "I understand." He paused. Then, with emotion building in his chest, said, "Olivia, you saved me. I was gone. I'd given up on life, but you pulled me out, piece by piece. You brought me back to the world." She looked at him. Their eyes spoke everything their lips couldn't yet say. Benjamin reached for her hand. She let him hold it. Then George's voice echoed down the hallway. "Mummy? Mr. Benjamin? Are you okay?" Olivia smiled. "We're okay, sweetheart." George ran in, holding his school drawing. "I made this for you," he said, handing it to Benjamin. It was a picture of the three of them standing in front of a computer screen, smiling. Benjamin bent down, took the drawing with both hands, and stared at it. "I never thought I'd have this again," he whispered. That weekend, Olivia invited Benjamin and George to a quiet dinner at a rooftop restaurant in Lekki. The view of the water glowed under the moonlight. Soft music played in the background. As they finished dessert, Olivia looked across the table, her voice shaky but strong. "Benjamin, I need to ask you something." He raised his eyes. "What is it?" She reached across the table. "Would you marry me?" The world froze. For a second, Benjamin couldn't breathe. "I know it sounds bold," she said, "but I've thought about it every day. You're kind. You're brilliant. You've made my son smile more than he has in years. And you make me feel alive again." Benjamin stood slowly. His voice cracked. "I've wanted to say I love you for weeks, but I was afraid you'd reject me." Olivia laughed gently through her tears. "I'd never reject you." He knelt beside her chair. "Then yes, I'll marry you." George cheered, throwing his hands up. "I'm getting twin brothers." Olivia blinked. "Twin brothers?" Benjamin smiled wide. "I just have a feeling." A shadow watches again. Far off in a parked car near the restaurant, the woman in sunglasses watched through binoculars. Ngozi. This time her face wasn't angry. It was uncertain. She sighed deeply and lowered the binoculars. Inside her purse, she pulled out a photo of Sandra, Jerry, and Joshua, then quietly whispered, "Maybe. Maybe he really did deserve a second chance after all." The church in Victoria Island was filled with white roses and gentle music. Guests from all corners of Lagos gathered, including some of Nigeria's top tech executives, charity founders, and friends from Olivia's childhood. But none of that mattered to Benjamin. As he stood at the altar, in his cream-colored agbada, freshly shaved and glowing with quiet joy, his eyes searched for one person only, Olivia. The crowd hushed as the doors opened. And there she was, dressed in a flowing white gown with silver lace, her hair pulled into a regal bun. Olivia Anderson walked down the aisle holding her 6-year-old son, George, by the hand. Her eyes never left Benjamin's. She reached him, and George stepped aside, beaming proudly as he stood with the ring-bearer. The officiating pastor began, and as the vows were exchanged, there wasn't a single dry eye in the room. Later at the reception, guests laughed, danced, and clinked glasses under a large canopy lit with warm fairy lights. Benjamin gave a short speech. "Some of you knew me as the man under the bridge. Some of you didn't know me at all. But today, I stand here as a man reborn not because I got lucky, but because someone chose to believe in me again." He turned toward Olivia, who smiled as she held George in her arms. She didn't see a broken man. She saw someone worth saving. The crowd applauded, moved. And then came the surprise. Olivia took the mic, glowing. "We have one more announcement to make." People leaned in. "I'm pregnant," she said, eyes twinkling. "With twins." The hall exploded with joy. Benjamin covered his face in disbelief, tears streaming down his cheeks. He walked over, knelt before Olivia's belly, and whispered, "Jerry, Joshua, welcome back." 3 months later, Olivia and Benjamin drove to Benjamin's old neighborhood, the one he left behind after the accident. The apartment complex had been remodeled. Kids ran around. Street vendors smiled and waved. Benjamin stopped beside a familiar spot, a small concrete bench in front of a dusty kiosk. "This is where I used to sit every evening before Sandra would come out with the boys," he said softly. Olivia placed a gentle hand on his arm. "You don't have to relive it." "No," he said. "I want to. Because I'm no longer broken when I remember them. I feel grateful. They gave me something I still carry." He paused. "Love." They stayed there for a moment. Then Benjamin reached into his bag and brought out something Olivia hadn't seen in a while, his old laptop. "Are you sure you want to touch that thing again?" she teased. He smiled. "This laptop carried my pain for too long. It's time it starts carrying purpose." Inspired by his journey, Benjamin launched a program called Code for Hope, a free tech training initiative for homeless and jobless youths across Nigeria. With Olivia's support and the backing of Andro Tech, the program gained attention nationwide. Under the bridge where Benjamin once slept, he now taught eager teenagers how to write code. "Every line you write," he told them, "is proof that your mind still works, even if your world feels like it's falling apart." News stations covered his story. Journalists called it the greatest comeback of the decade. And then, one day, Benjamin was invited to speak at the Youth Conference for Africa's Tech Future in Lagos. Standing before thousands of young Nigerians and global guests, Benjamin adjusted his microphone and began, "I once had it all. A good job, a beautiful wife, twin boys who ran to the door whenever I came home. Then one day, a drunk driver stole everything. I tried to die inside. I let my grief become my shelter. I stopped believing in the world, until someone believed in me." He paused, looked into the crowd. "Her name is Olivia. She gave me a chance no because I asked for it, but because I needed it. Now I give chances to others." He looked directly into the camera, broadcasting live. "To anyone out there who's broken, who's lost something or someone they thought they couldn't live without, this is your sign. Don't give up. Your life is not over. It's just beginning." Thunderous applause. People stood. Some cried. It trended instantly. From homeless to hope. Benjamin Lives. Olivia and Benjamin. 1 year later, inside their warm Banana Island home, Olivia nursed their newborn twin boy-healthy, happy babies named Jerry and Joshua. George, now 7, sat nearby, helping Benjamin debug a simple line of code on a tablet. "Dad, I think you forgot a semicolon," he said. Benjamin laughed. "Smart boy." The doorbell rang. It was Ngozi. She stood quietly at the gate, holding a gift bag and a small white envelope. "I came to see the babies," she said, smiling shyly. Benjamin nodded and opened the gate. As she stepped in, she whispered, "I'm sorry." He smiled. "I forgive you." At the end, he chose forgiveness after God gave him a second chance at life when he thought he has lost it all. Why should he keep grudges? He asked himself. What is your view about this story? Where are you watching from? If you enjoyed this story, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel for more interesting stories.